Thursday, August 7th, calling the select board meeting to order. First item up is consider additions or adjustments to the agenda. Are there any additions or adjustments to the agenda? And I propose that we have added executive session at the end for negotiating or securing real estate purchase or lease as allowed by 1 VSA 313A1. Good with it, good with it, good with it. Any other additions or adjustments? Hearing none. Next up, public comment. Is there any comment from the public tonight?
Yeah, I have and a question or two. So, I get at the last board meeting, Tom had said, and it's in the minutes, that he has been talking to Bernie Parmelo as to what's gonna happen with the property. And I know guys applied for a $6 million grant to your idea. And I wanted to know if you guys individually or together are committed to doing outreach to our community before any kind of decision is made, and if you're willing to incorporate the citizenry in that design process.
You're talking about of properties that have been bought at.
I'm talking about Parmelo, the market, when it comes to pass, that is taken down. That's what I'm talking.
Well, the congressional funding that we applied for, we didn't get, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, well, regardless of that, well, you know, I'm not surprised, given the political environment. So,
Individually,
excuse me,
individually or together, you're asking?
no, that's specific, the supermarket property
Yes.
specifically. I'm asking if you guys are going to do outreach to the community to get a reading as to what they would like to see there and maybe put that forward to Mr. Parmelo.
The planning commission has some things scheduled in September.
Now, there's a Johnson visioning meeting, which is now going to be scheduled for September 4th, which is as of yesterday. To discuss how people see the downtown, how to put all these various projects on a map, and then talk about some specific properties, one of which is Stratton. It's got a glowing opportunity for public input. It's not binding on the select board in any way, but it's really good.
And then that will be brought forward to the select board? Or how will that be? Will it just be one meeting or?
It'll be one meeting to start with, and it'll be the consultants will develop a map, base map, and then that will be presented to the public and give this for use.
Okay,
So it's basically just a way to continue the revamp and Johnson effort to keep people involved and introduce.
okay, so will this, will this entail like almost like a task force gathering that was put together by BCRD?
Well, initially, it's a public hearing, so anybody, everybody. What comes after that depends on what's going on. But I would see it being probably a planning commission effort with public input after.
Because I remember when the task force meetings came out, then we had how many people in the task force? It showed up like 300 people, and we had a decision about the industrial park that was brought forward, and there was about 100 people there. I would say that that specific property is probably one of the most important properties in town. And so I really feel that a real big outreach has to be made to include a lot of voices in the decision that is being made.
Yeah.
Are we all?
I would never make any decision without public input.
I agree.
Yeah, likewise.
And our two candidates, be on that as well.
See what goes on.
Okay. I'm out of here.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, it's gonna.
We got a full house here. This is not public Q&A, this is general public comment.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay,
So I was gonna say the same thing. But I'm hoping for a little bit more, like, yeah, we're gonna involve public for new folks, not. Because being the zoning administrator for Johnson. I hear all these ideas sideways. Like there's no direct. Comment, really, it's sort of rumors, who said what, who's gonna do this, so we put in a $6,000 grant, and I'm sitting. Blank.
that was congressionally directed spending
Yeah,
request. And I think. Adrian, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it didn't. There was flexibility with the application, it wasn't hard, that's this idea only.
Yep.
And that was really quick time frame, and. They didn't fund anything in 2024, we weren't hopeful that. We were obviously hopeful that they were gonna fund it in 2025, but I don't think anybody was holding their breath. On that, we tried.
Yeah.
I am. More than willing to have a public hearing. When that process comes through. When are we gonna even possess it? I don't. There hasn't been. Formal signatures. Of full commitment.
Yeah, the Sterling Market property is like kind of behind all the other FEMA buyout
Oh, really?
process,
Because it's
yeah.
going through a SWIFT grant application for a buyout, but it's not direct FEMA buyout. It's a different bottom line.
Is
is
that,
it the same restrictions? For moving forward with that piece of land?
I believe so.
Okay.
There's all kinds of stuff I think that has to be worked out with the bank too.
Mhm.
Because the property that goes up to it, and it's supposed to be all like green property.
Mhm.
And the bank would like a certain area to park cars, and then that has to be kind of ironed out too. So there's a lot of pieces to this pie. But like I said, and I want to reiterate, I would never make a decision, I'm sure. The board would never make a decision without all kinds of public input. You know, I hate to use the word study it to death, but it's gonna have a lot of thought. I think, before anything happens,
There's already been a lot of thought.
and they'll
Uh,
continue to.
On a liability standpoint, we talked extensively about. The potential for brownfield remediation, because there's the. Repair station back. There's a lot of steps, but. Okay. Everybody here sounds like they would like public input.
It's the old typical saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
neither was John.
When we deal with the government, we understand that fully well. I mean, look at our industrial park. It's languished for years, it's a grinding, slow process. I wish it was quicker, though.
Well, hopefully that doesn't take as long as the industrial.
And tell the truth.
Coming up with money is difficult. Okay. Scott, anything more?
No.
Lois, Charles? Donna? Paul? Charlie?
I have a question based on. Scott's comment. Are you the form-based code administrator?
No. No,
Scott is the
flood zoning.
flood zoning.
Flood zoning, okay.
Yeah, there's no. Not the zoning you're thinking.
Yeah,
Or was, I don't know.
okay, on to the next item up, we have public questions and answers with the candidates for select board and for the public. Could the two candidates introduce themselves first?
Sure, if anyone doesn't know me, my name is Paul Wharton. My wife Margot and I have lived in Johnson for more than 30 years, raised our two sons, Salem and Cooper here. Went to the elementary school and high school. We have been involved in town activities in a variety of ways over the years. Margot had been on the select board and the school board when there was an elementary school board. And myself, have been involved in the recreation program, mostly coaching soccer. And then more recently, on the planning commission where I've been for 11 years, last 4 or 5 as chair. I also served on the Johnson's representative to the Wild Fiber Net, where I'm on a bunch of committees there. And I look forward to the opportunity if I get chosen tonight to help the select board move forward. Johnson's got a lot of opportunities in front of them.
Thank you.
I'm Charlie Gallagher. I lived in the house that my parents bought before I was born. So I was over 75 years. I stand alone and run for select board. I think this is. I've been on the ballot twice, but I think this is my 4th application. 4th time I've put my name forward to be on this. I have petitioned my way onto the ballot twice. I've received more votes than the other candidate that's put his name forward. In the last election, I had like 140 votes. When I ran against Duncan Hastings, I had over 250. So I have some support in the community. I do not have a spouse that has as accomplished as the other candidates. But I'm not competing with them. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank both of you. Do we have any public questions?
I do. And it's the same
Yeah.
question for both of you, so whoever wants to go first, I'm there. What do you think you can do for the select board? What's making you run? What can you do?
Well, I have a business background. And one of the biggest things the select board does is prepare the budget. I've got some expertise in analyzing where money comes from and where it goes. We've got a huge amount of violence, our tax base is shrinking. We can't continue to afford the things we've afforded in the past. Where do we trim? Or what are the sources of revenue? I think we need to be aware that we're not going to be getting the grant money and the money from the outside sources that we've gotten in the past. I don't think the state is going to continue to fund this. Dare I say generously as they have in the past with pilot committee. I don't think the pilot committee is sustainable. So I think we need to take a hard look at where we spend our money. That'll be my top priority. I think I put out literature every time I run as to what my priorities are. And they are roads, safety, and public health. I'm a firm believer in the benefits of provided to the town by Memorial Home Health and Hospice. They service everyone of all ages, and yet they're funded by one of those. What do they call them at the end of the
Appropriations.
no, there's a special word for anyway. They're not funded in the general budget, and I think Memorial Home Health should be funded in the general budget. We have to be careful in looking at law enforcement. I'm very much opposed, and I've stated in my literature in the past. I'm opposed to policing for profit, like they did in Ferguson, like they do in other municipalities. I don't know if Danville quite fits that criteria. There are jurisdictions in Vermont that do police for profit and opposed to. What happens is that when they do that, it tends to be low income people that are targeted. They end up putting the bill that way. And we get it. So we have public safety is a major portion of our budget is police. The other major portion of our budget is roads. Well, what's going for with the blue roads, maintaining the infrastructure. Those are probably the 2 biggest single items. Staff. And we've got a big problem coming up there. We're losing our town clerk. There's also the village clerk, the village treasurer, the town treasurer. We combine them, so how do we deal with that unwinding? Well, it's real, because we're going to still happen. Those are my issues.
And they're all good ones. I think what I think I can do, what I can bring to the board is, from my experience, I also have a business background, having running a business, but I think more importantly, my time on the planning commission and time on fire net has to do with functioning of a board and how a board works, and I think it's really important that we encourage an environment of open communication, that we're open with town. Honest and frank dialogue of the pros and cons of whatever is being proposed. And that we have an environment amongst board members that supports each other and allows an opportunity to be fully vetted, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. And I think that is going to be important as we go forward, because there are certainly hard choices that we have to be made. But at the same time, I think there's also opportunities to be had, and I don't think now is the time to reduce, redact, but step back. Now is the time to be aggressive. Now it's time to think big. It's time to think about positivity and positive growth for Johnson, improvements we can make. And I think Johnson's best days are ahead. And I don't think Johnson's road to prosperity lies in budget cuts. Relies on people doing the work, finding the money, and making new things happen. On the whole reimagine Johnson effort with the various task forces we have going on now, and for example, recreation economy effort that's come out of that. I think that's vitally important. We need to aggressively pursue those things. So those are my priorities. Look forward positively, look for opportunities.
Thank you both. Is there another
I-
public question?
I do.
Lois had her hand up first.
Yeah.
Lois?
My hands are right. I have a question, because I've noticed over the years, the select board is involved in a lot of executive sessions for evaluations, personnel evaluations. And it struck me that we don't talk about what background our candidates have with personnel management evaluations. So I'm interested to know what kind of experience you folks have and how you'd like to share it with us.
Charlie went first.
I go first.
I'm just trying to keep it back and forth for you guys, whatever you're comfortable with.
In my current position, and the services, which is my, I was that Wilson that I run, I do the hiring and firing. I'm my title is vice president, but there is no president in our local office, so that's me. And so the responsibility comes down to me, that responsibility falls to me too. And I do that with committee. Every time we interview, we have multiple people interview a candidate situation. Fortunately, I don't like them a couple of times, but if somebody needs to be fired, that falls to me too. So I think the important thing with employees is that you have regular and frank, as I said before, dialogue with them. And the company I used to work with, you had 6-month reviews or 12-month reviews or whatever. I think that's a terrible way to do it, because by the time 6 months have gone by, everybody's pissed off and the issues have become bigger than they should be. I think you need to address things when they occur, you need to address them head on and have honest evaluation. If something's not working, then you have to say so and either fix it or change personnel. But I don't think that extending review periods is a good idea. I'm sure if that's a good answer, but.
It's your answer.
So I was a union contractor in Colorado, and I was on the chaired and negotiated with, representing contractors and negotiated with the union. As part of our collective bargaining agreement, we established labor management joint committee to review grievances. And I had enough faith and credibility with the union to be elected chairman of that group. They were comfortable with my objectivity. And I think most of the decisions we made were made collectively. So that's an administrative viewpoint on it. From an administrative standpoint, I've been there, done that. in terms of how you deal with each particular situation. It's each particular situation on its own merits. I can't speak in generalities about how I would make the determination. It would depend on the facts of the case. I would. While I'm a college educated. And I'm an entrepreneur, and that's who I am. I have a great deal of empathy for the working person, and the wage. And frankly, for the working poor. Which regrettably is most employees. Yeah, they make what we think are nice hourly wages. But $35 an hour is not really that nice a wage, and I don't know what the minimum. Sustainable wages, but it's not what it used to be. And the working poor is what we deal with on this one.
Okay. Charles?
So I'll ask Charlotte first. So I know that one of your pet peeves is form-based code. And so if there is something that you would like to address about that. Now, I'd like to hear it, or if you think that there is something more poignant that would be something that you would like to focus on, like to put that, either one.
You said it again?
I know that form-based code is,
I don't need the answer, I got that. What's your question?
my question is, what, if anything, a specific subject or specific thing you want to focus on?
Repeal of form-based code, specific one single thing, I would be for the repeal of form-based code,
Okay,
as one single thing.
and may I ask why?
Yes, you may ask, but I don't have an answer. You can ask anything. The reason I'm opposed to form-based code. Currently, we have it and we don't enforce it. I mean, we got work going on right now. With no permits. And it's obvious work. If we had a legitimate or a responsible code enforcement officer. Be on there and on their butt, why don't you have a permit? So why have an ordinance that's not enforced? That's the number one reason. At the minimum. We have this form-based code, they're enforcing it.
What buildings are you referring to that are having the front redone? Because as far as I remember, it was. If you're having major work done on a building that you had to bring that building forward to be closer to the road. With parking on the side, so I don't know which building you have to be referring to.
You're doing any work on a building, you must obtain a permit. Yes, sir. Mrs. Gonchek said no.
Yeah.
If you read the code, and I went over this with Duncan. You read the code, any work requires a permit. Now, they may be easy to get, and you may comply. But, for instance, they're doing something, I don't know what they're doing, on a building. On Stern Street? What's one of those other bridges?
Pearl Street.
No, that's those. Pearl Street.
Pearl Street.
There's a building on Pearl Street, they got the front jacked up. I don't know what they're doing, I don't know in particular, but it requires a permit. Any construction requires a permit. Now, they're easy to get if you're not doing anything. You will comply if you're not making your windows any smaller. If you're making them bigger, you're certainly welcome to do that, you're supposed to have your glazing standards. But you're not allowed to make anything small. Less glazing, which Carmelo did on his board. And no one said anything about it. So, you got this form-based code. So what?
Same question to you. You have something specifically that you would like, you like form-based code, what would you focus?
Well, my focus for form-based code would be, first of all, I would not repeal it. I think it's important for us to have some form of zoning as we look forward to the state's redistricting of the downtown designations and having some form of zoning as a part of that requirement. So I think it's important that we keep that intact. What I would do is, if we're possible, modify form-based code such that there were some exemptions that the developer review board could allow for flood mitigation. So for example, you don't have to have gigantic windows like down if you're subject to flooding. That sort of thing. I would make smaller tweaks to it to make it more amenable to our situation.
Okay. Is there any other focus, a very important thing to you that you would like to address if you became select board member?
So we're off the form-based code then.
Yeah, because I asked him what is most important.
Well, I think that was
That's not
the
what you're
just
asking.
form-based code.
Specifically about rule-based law.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant that if there was something specific that is a focus of your attention, sorry.
Oh, that's not what you asked.
Okay, I said, you are absolutely right.
I think I would answer that question well. You know, what would I focus on? We need to readjust our priorities. We need to look at our income stream and our expenses. Because our income stream is not gonna be what it was. We're losing, I don't know how many buyout properties there are, and I don't know what they're worth, but I intend to find out. Because that's good, you know, how much those buyout properties are gonna decrease the values. We have a reappraisal coming up, I'm not sure when. But
2028,
it's gonna be done in 20.
starting
No.
It's gonna be all done? 27.
Yeah.
2020.
So we got, you know, we're gonna have a new grant, what are we? We have a pretty high tax burden now, not an outrageous one, but it's pretty high. And granted, most of that is school tax, but even the town tax. I think the town tax went up and the school tax went down, either this last time. And how much, and that's before, I believe that the current taxes are based on a grant list that includes properties in the bylaw.
Is that a question to the board?
Yeah, it's kind
The
of.
answer is yes.
So, you know, and I don't know if we're gonna collect those taxes, because someone has a buyout property, the town buys them out. Now, who pays the taxes? And it's part of their buyout, part of the budget. So we got a problem coming.
In specific regards to what you just stated, how would you address? Do you believe that the future of the town is one of contraction or growth?
Well. The town is contracting, we're gonna have to believe that's the future. It's a fact. We're losing properties and we're not building houses to replace them, so we've got, I don't know. Those 11 or 12, all those people are leaving. Because their houses are being demolished. The rental properties and the single family occupancies. So what has nothing to do with my vision, it's what's happening. I would like to see the town flourish. I'm hopeful, I'm not optimistic, but I'm hopeful that things will bubble out of this reimagined Johnson. These various task forces. I'm gonna be listening until when I get the new tooth for Christmas. The new front tooth for Christmas. I'm hopeful that things will bubble out.
You are aware of the select board talking to DW and the possibility of building. Suppose that money took the place of the tax, took the place on the tax rolls of these properties that are being bought out. So let's say, for the sake of argument, everything stayed even. What would then, would you still be into solely tightening the budget? Would you be into the town extending more and trying to grow more? What would be your vision for your old town? If the tax base stays
Tax base stays
same, right?
the same.
after the building of whatever.
Well, we have a lot of projects in the works. But, we have the industrial about to complete it. And I think that's probably the major capital project. I think the library is gone and major completion. Not aware of any other capital projects that we could do. So. I'm not sure I know which question is.
I just trying to get a feel of.
I'm hopeful that the industrial park takes off and that we have wonderful things in it. There's some things that I'd like to see there. One thing that Johnson has in terms of economic development that I've not heard anyone talk about. Is that we are what's, I believe it's called an enterprise zone. For which there are substantial federal tax benefits.
Of some,
Actually,
we're also of some, we're,
okay, I don't know about how, but anyway, no one talks about it. I believe that we need to find a developer partner to help us with this industrial park. I don't think anybody on currently on the select board, nor prospectively on the select board, is a developer. Wrong? Any good developers? I didn't miss it. Oh, you're not a developer, I'm not a developer. But they were around us, Pomelo, there was Gene at the Louisville. These two people that I know, and I'm sure there's many more, are property developers. They probably, they may not even know about these enterprise zone, hub zones, whatever they are. But we need to find a way to market. To market our industrial, and we are not. We need to find someone to do that, help us do that.
I will give you the same question.
Well, I think that's something Fred and I share with you on, actually, we need help there. And I think we're trying to end it up was, vision is growth, the vision is not reduction, vision is grow the investment market, make it happen. Vision is grow the recreation economy and make it happen, vision is enforce and encourage our cultural events, so we have ongoing Tuesday Night Live and art events and tractor parades, and something every season, reasons to bring people into Johnson. I see Johnson as more and more a place that people want to come to. They want to live here, they want to work here, they want to recreate here, they want to enjoy whatever missionary operations we have. Like you talk about mountain biking on the hill over there, I think there's a lot of opportunity for Johnson, and I think the solution to our problems is growth. There is no question we will have some short-term pain economically, we'll have to look at very carefully. There's no way around that, but I don't think that's the long-term answer.
I have a short question, the same question for both of you, pertaining to grants. Curious on if you authored a grant or co-authored a grant, what the success rate was.
I played a minor role in securing the Northern Borders grant, was funding the infrastructure, the light industrial border. I'm not sure if Duncan identified it first or I did, but we outlined it and then helped write that grant. Duncan was the primary author of this grant. I've written several grants in scientific role. She doesn't really fly, but nonetheless, this experience of reading grant opportunity and trying to figure out what it is they're really looking for and making sure your proposal is tailored to. Do I have any kind of plans? No, but I have written some.
Never written one, or never intended one. Let me tell you what, how I feel about grants. I think you need to decide what you want to do, plan. For instance, we're redoing Main Street. Kathy Black had written a plan about how to do certain things. I'm not sure the detail, but I know the plan was in place before the grant application was made. So I think you need to decide what you want and then find the grants to do, as opposed to there's a grant out there to do this, that, and the other thing. Let's apply for it to do it. I've seen that. An analogous situation was when I was in my experience in the private sector. they had all these tax benefits. And companies would play the tax benefit, yeah, and end up going broke. Because they didn't plan what they wanted. They took what the government told them they could do. And the central government as the planner is been proven to be a pretty poor idea.
Specifically towards, well, let's follow up.
Yeah.
Specifically towards what Charlie just stated, and just stated that you do have a hand in grants within your professional world. Do you agree with what Charlie just said, or what are your feelings?
In general, I do agree. I don't think you should be changing grants willy-nilly. There has to be some rationale behind it other than just trying to grab a pot money. So clearly, I think there needs to be some conceptual plan. I don't think we can have every possible project planned out all over town and then wait for money to come along. So it's a little bit of both. If there's an opportunity there and it fits with what we have in mind, it doesn't make any sense not to chase it. I think we need to be aggressive because there's less money around. So a little bit of both, if that helps.
Are there any further questions? Die of public too. Good. Okay, I guess we'll close the public Q&A session. We had talked on Monday about the board interviews being in executive session. So we'll.
I want to make one comment, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
The questions were excellent tonight. Actually, we kind of joked about there's not many people here, but the few people that were here had good questions to make up for a lot more people who could have been here. So I appreciate your questions. Very good.
Agreed.
Yeah, certainly.
I practice out of party.
Just so the public knows, there's 17 properties that the board has approved for buyout application. And those properties tax card values is just below 3.5 million.
The property value.
Yeah,
What, may I ask?
those grand list effects are just below 35,000 on the grand list because they moved the decimal over twice. To get it split cents. I've never fully comprehended that one.
What percentage?
Our grand list is 2.5 million.
So 7%.
That is one way to say it.
So approximately, you were saying approximately within 5%.
No. 1%.
It's 1
No,
or 2 cents, but that's 9%.
No, so your grand list is happy,
The sheet is not made for percentage.
I understand that, I'm asking you, how big is the grand list?
2, 4, 4, 6, 5, 4, 5.
Where's the next one?
There's after the 5.
So is it 2 million?
Hang on.
I'm trying to get out.
It's 2,446,000.
Okay, so 2.4. 2.4.
2.4, how much are the buyouts?
On the grand list value, get 34.5.
So we're
300
Now,
40.
1.5%.
1.42 cents, but that's not percent, it's both.
It's 1.5, in round numbers, it's 1.5.
Yeah,
how does that formula jive with how much tax revenue you guys are gonna lose?
1.5%.
I can't speak for the
1.5%.
board, but it's the voters that approve the budget. That if they approve the same budget, the town would not lose any tax revenue. It would just be a higher burden.
It would move. It would be spread among fewer properties.
Right.
It's your taxes are 1.5%. They cover the same budget. In round numbers based on the numbers we're looking at. About 1.
There's a lot of questions.
That's what they
Really
need.
response, so.
What do you need
1.5.
on that board?
No,
I
no,
understand
I
this
was
stuff.
not saying that to advocate for either
No, but I'm taking the opportunity.
Yeah, there's just been a lot of questions about how many viable properties and costs and. There's a beginning discussion at the starting point.
Hey, I just wanted to figure out how much it's gonna cost me extra.
100%.
Good.
Right,
That's
The
less than
school
it
tax
is.
was a deal this year,
yeah,
Yeah, it was down.
so next year probably won't be.
We're talking less than a dinner at Movies, so, yeah. That's-
Oh, I don't know.
so at this point, I would entertain
You're not paying your fair share of taxes.
a motion from the select board. To enter into executive session as allowed by one VSA 313E3 to interview candidates.
So,
Sorry, taxes.
Motion on the floor. I think Adrian beat you in a second. I think Adrian beat you.
Oh, she didn't.
Thanks, sorry.
Further discussion, Peter did. Peter so moved it.
Adrian moved
Adrian
it.
moved it.
Adrian, well,
Okay.
I thought I seconded.
Okay, I guess Michael seconded it.
I'm gonna fight mine for the second.
Oh, help yourself, you have it.
Mike seconded.
For the public, we will be entering executive session to do interviews and deliberate, come out and make a decision. And then we'll be entering executive session after for real estate.
Good thing you stopped at 8 o'clock.
I'll have to just, you want me to just text you? Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
All those opposed, 4 is entering.